What's up, everybody? So this video is going to be on Swift Qualcomm. What mackerels, how to send them in, general knowledge, just covering the bases, not really going deep into it. There are some things. There's some mackerels that you as a driver that won't use, either because you're with flatbed, drive-in, refrigerated, dedicated. It varies. Each section uses different messages, so let's keep that in mind. But I made a list. But the mackerels that you will use the most will be mackerel 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 22, 28, 29, 35, and 55. And I'm going to cover all those in this video. So your first mackerel, mackerel 0, is a freeform. You just hit it, flip open your Qualcomm, and I got messages coming in. And you type your message, and when you hit send, it sends it to your driver leader, the planner, really just the whole company, kind of, is what I'm general knowledge. It depends on who's on, who's logged in, to who gets it. I have sent in messages from Texas, and people in Pennsylvania have answered me. People in Salt Lake City have answered me. So it really just gets sent out to who's available. Your next mackerel, mackerel 1, is the mackerel you will send in when you arrived at the shipper. When you get to the location to pick up your load, you're going to hit it. When you hit it, the screen pops up and it has, just the information. If you're bringing in a trailer and it's empty and they say, hey, we need you to drop this trailer, or you're getting there and it's the same place as you're dropping off and picking up, you still need to send this in. What you do is put down the trailer that you dropped, get the trailer number, put it in the message, hit send, so the company can keep up with the equipment, so then later down the road you're not having to run all over the place looking for trailers that ain't there because people haven't sent in the mackerel. Your next mackerel is going to be your loaded call. That's after you get loaded, after you're 100% done, you got your paperwork, you're going to send this in. And what that message will have to include is your ETA for your next stop, your PTA for your next load. And with the Swift mackerels, the only ones that you really need to fill out is the ones that are highlighted in red. So you just scroll down through there, like on this one, it wants your ETA, your PTA. You can skip all that other stuff. They want your bill of lading, your weight, how many pieces it is, did you put your enforcer lock on the trailer, make sure your bills match the dispatch, and then again, just to be safe, it's going to ask for the trailer dropped and the trailer picking up. Enter those numbers, then hit send, and within like 2 or 3 minutes you'll get a message back saying confirmed and all this other good stuff. That one. Mackerel 3 is arrived at stop. Now what that is if you get a load that has multiple stops, for every stop except for your final, you have to send in arrived at stop. And when you click it, it just says arrived at stop, and you enter what number. If it's stop 1, if it's stop 4, if it's stop 15, you hit it, and it lets dispatch know where you're at on your load, what stop you're at, how it's starting to affect your ETA and your PTA on your final, and all that other good stuff. After that, it's going to be mackerel 4, and it's depart from stop. And what that is, it lets them know when you get done with that stop and when you're estimating when you'll get to your next one. So how it's set up on the Qualcomm is it says depart from stop number, and you enter the stop number that you just got done at, ETA for next stop, PTA for next load. When you scroll down about halfway down, you have some more stuff you have to fill out that you'll get, and it says, the first name, last name, bill of lading, PO number, weight, pieces, all that good stuff. You probably won't fill out the trailers dropped and the trailers picking up because it's going to be all out of the same trailer. After that, your next mackerel is going to be mackerel 5. Went right past it. Mackerel 5 is, and my truck just turned off, arrived at final destination. Now, you'll send this in when you get to your last stop. You'll click it, And you just hit send, and it just lets your dispatcher and the company know that you've got there. You haven't got emptied, but you've arrived. And the reason why you want to do that when you get to a load to pick up and when you get to a load to drop off is because if it goes over 2 hours and you're still sitting there either waiting to get loaded or waiting to get unloaded, you as a driver start getting paid. The company starts paying you because you're losing time off your drive clock. And from what I understand, it's $8. Now this is going to sound really weird because I thought it was by the hour, but apparently they do it in 15-minute sections. So it's $8 for every 15 minutes you sit up to 8 hours, I think. It's either 15 minutes or it's an hour section. Because I know after the 2 hours have expired, you will get a message saying, you know, your 2 hours at pickup or final has expired. Please send in the message of what's going on. You just hit reply and send in what's going on. And for you to get paid, every time one of those messages comes on, you have to reply to it, or you don't get paid for sitting there. So make sure you reply to those messages. Your next message, mackerel, is going to be mackerel 6. That is going to be your empty call. That is the message you send in after you've gotten unloaded at your final. They've completely unloaded you. They've signed your paperwork. You're good to go. You're going to click it, and it's going to ask for your PTA for next load. Potential time available for your next load. And you enter the date and the time. I think that's all. No. Oh yeah. It's going to ask who received that. If it's either the security guard that signed for it, or if it's the people in the office, usually they'll sign it. If you can't read their name, first name, put security, last name, put guard. So the company knows it was a security guard. Enforcer lock removed, yes. It's not highlighted in red, but I highly recommend it. Current fuel level in the truck. It's broken up into 8s. Always enter that so your dispatcher and load planners know how much fuel is on the truck so you don't run out of fuel. Now, that don't mean that if you never enter it, they won't never dispatch you. Every time you get dispatched on a load, there's going to have a fuel stop if the computer system on the truck tells them that there's enough fuel to make that stop. So just keep that in mind. And it's going to ask if you had to unload it or not. Put Y for yes, put N for no. If you did, you get paid. The company pays you for unloading that. And then it's going to ask the trailer's dropped and the trailer's picking up. And that's just if you get there and they go, hey, it was supposed to be a live load, but it's turned into a drop. So drop that trailer back there and pick up an empty. That's when you'll enter the trailer you dropped and the new trailer you picked up. And it's just so the company keeps up with everything. After mackerel 6, you'll have mackerel 8. Mackerel 8 is your home call. Now, you want to send this in whenever you want to go home. And how this works is you enter your driver code, the location zip code that you want to go to. Then it enters the date that you want to be there. And this is what you have to understand. Swift works off this policy. If you enter July 4th, that does not mean they have to get you on July 3rd so you're home July 4th. What it means is they have from midnight to midnight July 4th to get you there. So from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. that night, they have to get you there. So you could get home July 4th at 1:30 in the morning, or you can get home July 4th at 11:59 p.m. because technically they still got you there on July 4th. So keep that in mind. Usually you want to set it 24 hours back. Then it asks how many days you intend to take off. Swift rule of thumb is for every 7 days you work, you get 1 day off. So just keep that in mind. And let's exit off that. Your next mackerel is going to be mackerel 9. Now you want to send in this to make sure you lock in your loads. I'm thinking they're changing it up a little bit because it hasn't happened as often. But usually when you take your last load or your second to last or third to last load, they'll send you another load or they'll send you multiple loads. And with those you get your trip number. which you always write down all the information. Now with this one, you click macro 9, and it says accept next load trip number. You have to enter that trip number, and then enter Y for yes that you're taking it, and hit enter. And you have to do that for every trip they give you, because if you don't, the computer, why can't I not talk today? It's because I'm in a rush. The computer sees it as, well, they sent you the load, you looked at it, and I think it's a 1 hour time clock is on it. I thought it was 30 minutes, but my ex-co-driver reminded me that was an hour. So you have 1 hour to accept that load. If you don't, it don't mean it will get taken away. Usually either your driver manager or planner will catch it and then put it on you. But if they don't, the computer system will automatically take it away from you, and that load will no longer be available to you, and it will dispatch it to another driver. Meaning it sends it to another driver, Qualcomm, and if they accept it, there's nothing you can do to get it back. So always accept your loads with that mackerel. And more messages are coming. So that was mackerel 9. Always send in mackerel 9 when you get new loads. Your next mackerel is going to be kind of high. It's going to be mackerel 22, and you'll skip it a lot, and the reason why is because either I don't mess with those because I'm on craft dedicated and I don't have to send in those. You got like the border crossing one, the Chrysler ETA for Chrysler parts. So it's varies. Like I said, I don't mess with none of those. I don't work for Chrysler. I don't cross the Canadian border or the Mexican border. I don't do none of that stuff, so I don't have to send in none of those mackerels, and I don't know how to send in those mackerels. But the next mackerel in that line that's just basic is going to be mackerel 22, and that's if you're running late on that order. You want to stop somewhere, you want to enter your trip number, and it's going to ask for ETA to pick up, and that's just the load that you picked up, and then ETA for delivery of that load, and you must enter the new delivery time, and then it's going to ask for your new potential time available. Then if you scroll all the way down, because you know they love making you fill stuff out, it's going to ask if you're shut down. Now there's two things that will make you late on a load. Either you ran out of hours, or it's bad weather, or traffic. So with this, they need to know, and that's why it gets kind of, we really have to go into detail. It's going to ask if you're shut down. If you're late because of traffic, you're going to hit no and just give the location, because it's going to ask where you're at and why the reason. So you'll hit no, I'm not shut down, I'm sitting at a truck stop number, blah blah blah, and the reason for delay is because traffic's backed up 2.5 hours. And you'll send that in, and your driver leader, planner, they'll get that and can keep you up to date, keep the system up to date, keep the customer up to date. The next thing is when you're shut down because you're out of hours. Are you shut down? Yes. Give the location that you're shut down so they can keep an eye on you in case anything happens. And then the reason, I've ran out of hours because the traffic was so bad I've used up all my time, or the weather was so bad that I've had to stop and wait for the wind to die down. You need to go into detail. You can't just send because I'm tired, because what you send in here, the customer also receives, because the customer wants to know why you're being late. So go into a little bit of details about that, because it's not just the company going to be receiving that, the customer gets to see that. Your next mackerel, like I said, jumping down a little bit, it's going to be mackerel 28. That's a company advance, and usually that's going to be for stuff like lumper fees, if you want to get a truck wash. Trailer washes you don't have to pay for. Blue Beacon and a whole bunch of other third-party companies already have either Central or Swift into their computer system, and all they require you to do is just to give them your truck number, your trailer number, and your trip number, and that's pretty much all, and then you just have to sign for it. You get one truck wash a month, and that's through the Com card and all that other stuff. So if you want that, you'll have to send in more messages. You'll have to send in that mackerel 28. And it's super simple to fill out. It's just, you have to enter your driver code, your com data code, the amount, and the reason why. So everybody can't really go into detail because everybody has different information. Your next macro is going to be macro 29. Now this is your personal company advance, and keep this in mind when using macro 29. Swift is acting as a middleman, bank per se. Now we get paid as Swift employees, we get paid every week on Friday. So let's say it's Wednesday and you're out of money and you need money to get you to Friday. You can send in this personal advance and you'll hit it, and it's going to ask for your driver code, your ComData code number card, your ComData card number, and the amount that you want. You can get up to $106 per calendar week in a year. So you can't get more than $106 in 1 week. Keep this in mind. Swift charges you for taking that out. I think it's $7. So do not just get $100. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of your ATMs charge in between $3 to $4. So if you are going to get $100, I highly recommend getting the $106. It's not free money. How they do this is they give you the $106 and they tack on their fee of $7, and then they wait for you to get paid. Swift then looks at your paycheck and takes out the $106 and their $7 charge, and then they give you what's left. You have to pay that back, so keep that in mind. It's not free money. You have to pay that back. Okay, your next macro is going to be macro 35. They're calling me because I'm freaking busy. Your next one is going to be macro 35, and that's to check your ComData card balance. A lot of your new drivers and a lot of the people that don't have direct deposit, you can use your ComData card as a pay card. Now that means your paycheck gets put onto it, and you can walk up to an ATM and get your money off of it, and you can also check your balance. Now if you call your ComData card to check your balance, there's a fee for it. If you send in the macro, it's free. So you're going to want to use that macro 35 to always check your ComData card balance if you're using it for direct deposit and your money and all that other good stuff. The next macro you're going to check is macro 55, and it's way down here. Way down here. And macro 55 is when you break down. If the truck breaks down or if the trailer breaks down, you'll have to send in this macro. And it asks you, is it a problem with the tractor? Y or N? Problem with the trailer? Y or N? Problem with the reefer? Y or N? Location, phone number in the problem, blah, blah, blah. So you want to send that in. Usually when you break down, you want to send in that and then call your driver leader, so you can keep everybody up to, specs and how to keep up with you. If you're with Reefer, there is one macro that I know that you have to send in extra on top of everything, and that is after you've arrived at shipper, after your loaded call, you have to send in macro 16, and the reason why is because they want to know what the temperature of the trailer's set at, and it's super easy. You just go to compose, scroll down to 16, hit 16, enter what it's set at, what it's actually at, and the box temperature. And it gets iffy with a lot of loads. I know a lot of loads will split the trailer, but with Craft I haven't had any. Ooh, excuse me. So yeah, those are just the macros you'll send in. It's super easy. Usually about 3 weeks after using it, you get into the process of doing it. Most of the macros you're going to use is up at the top. Your macros 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Those are mostly the macros you're going to be using every day. And it's just arrived at final, arrived at shipper, loaded call, empty call, just over and over and over and over and over. So I hope this video helped. If you have any more questions, you can drop a comment, or you can go to my Facebook page, Andrew's Crazy Life, and send me a message. I'll respond there. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.